Chip scores first international goal. I can't afford to miss World Cup. And that's coming from Victor Osimhen. I can't afford to miss World Cup. Odine's coach boosts Okoye after free kick blunder. And lastly, we have World Judo Day. Oshodi urges Nigerians to embrace peace and unity. And that's all we have on the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Over to you, Victor.
Well, on the Vanguard this morning, there is this one coming from Sanusi and Peter Saito in the federal government. Don't just reform, cut waste. You find more of that on page 5. The riders challenge leaders in accountability, economic discipline, if reforms must work. Why do we need 48 ministers, long convoys, and less travels? As a question asked by Sanusi. Benefits of subsidy removal can only be realized through proper governance, according to Peter Sai. Tinubu's reforms already yielding results, as come from Edun. Oti calls for leadership discipline, human capital investment to unlock Africa's prosperity. On page 26, Enugu emerges likelier states to survive without FAAC allocations, and that's according to budget. Senate's NSITF takeover, declaration of war on workers. That's come from the NLC. There's more to that on page 9. There's threatens directive halting workers' fund deductions and remittances. On page 9 also, we have received threats from terrorists to bomb National Assembly. Reps raise alarm. On page 8, have been banned from US. That's coming from Shoyinka. And reps to probe NFF over $25 million FIFA grants on page 30. Okay, turning to the inside stories that we have right here on page 3. Debunk false narratives, promotes Nigeria's image. Federal government tells nations. And we have more. Natasha approaches courts, seeks dismissal of federal charges. Peter Obi, only character, truth, responsibility can heal Nigeria. And moving on to what we have on page 4. 2 million children vaccinated against measles and rubella. We are building a tech-driven Zamfara. That's coming from the governor of Zamfara State, Governor Lawal. Moving on to what we have on page 6. Militia, armed herders unleash fresh terror on Benue communities. We seize 384.88 kilograms of loud other drugs from Lagos nightclub party. That's coming from the NDLEA. Court remands man for allegedly defiling own daughter. Alleged $42 million fraud. Court fixes January 27 for a trial of Britain and 2 Indians. Police arrest 2 one-chance robbery suspects behind murder in Abuja. And on page 7, Kolade goes home in the days of glory as Obasanjo, Osinbajo, Obi, others bid ex-envoy farewell. Under police nab 5 suspected kidnappers linked to officers' murder. You find more of that on page 7 as well. On page 8, interesting stories. Women key to nation building, according to Sanwo-Olu. The Lagos government, Owonoshoki residents differ over demolitions. Have been banned from USA. That's coming from Shoyinka. Again, a repeat of that story. There is more right here on page 9, where we have this one. No promotion scandal in NPA. That's coming from the IGP Egbetokun. Senate's NSITF takeover, declaration of war on workers. Urban mobility, public safety, key drivers of Abuja's smart city vision. That's coming from Wiki on the same page 9. And WAEC denies restricting SS students' subject choices for WASC 2026. We have something here on page 10, which might interest the women. Tinubu's $1 trillion vision hinges on women empowerment. That's coming from the minister as federal government launches new economic inclusion plan. Muftuang urges tech-driven road traffic management for safer Nigeria. On page 11, Beavers, despite network glitch, INEC pledges seamless Anambra election. Daily Momodu says Igbo have been marginalized and backs calls for Nnamdi Kanu's release. The group mobilizes over 5,000 independent observers for the Anambra election, as a PVC collection is extended to November 2, and the federal government warns politicians against violence. We have more on page 12. We have this one. O2 proposes 780.6 billion naira as 2026 budget of inclusive growth. On high tech, we have Abia Teen creates app that turns websites into AI-driven platforms. You find more about Obina Chimdi on page 14 of the Vanguard newspaper for today. On page 14 of the Vanguard newspaper today. Cybersecurity, Nigeria's private sector at risk, Africa's public sector in danger. And moving on to what we have on the business part of it on page 20. Nigeria's money supply drops 1.5% to 117.8 trillion naira as credit to economy falls 5% to 96.7 trillion naira. FIR's boss says tax clarity, investor confidence dependent on judiciary. And CBN refutes $1.3 billion fuel imports FX report. Okay, on page 25, Nigeria may wait 100 years to have enough doctors. That's coming from Prof. Oshibogun. PCN insists on merit-based pharmacy licensing in Lagos. And we have something on page 26. State of States 2025, Enugu emerges likelier states to survive without FAAC allocations. Lagos and Abia, Anambra, Kwara completes the top 5 according to budget. On Naira Watch, Naira appreciates to 1,487 Naira per dollar in parallel markets. And on page 27, Rahia Life gradually returns to deserted Igbo communities formerly occupied by unknown gunmen. 170 foreigners apply for Nigerian citizenship. Ipman denies crisis, clarifies leadership in Benin Depot. We also have on page 29, SSE Lab holds MBA Business Showers Cohort 2, redefining the Nigerian economy. And on the sports page on page 30, reps to prove NFF over $25 million FIFA grants. Super Falcons book WAFCON tickets. And we have Nadoze nominated for IFFHS Best Goalkeeper Award. CAF names host City Stadium for 2026 World Cup playoffs, and world's first Sky Stadium to be built 350 meters above the ground. It's open to host World Cup matches. Delaphan's Chelsea major boost. Uncertainty envelops Iheanacho's Celtic future as Rogers resigns as manager. And at the back page, we have FIFA Under-17 World Cup Flamingos crash out after Italy defeated them by 4 goals to nothing. Messi will wait to make decision on playing our 2026 World Cup. And we have a list of today's matches in the NPFL, as well as the Serie A, the Ligue 1 and the EFL Cup are right there. And that's as much as we can take on the newspaper review segment for this morning. We'll take a quick break now, return with the weather report. Don't go anywhere.
world needs moms. With a splash of golden terra oil, a mom can transform a frown into a smile. Change no thanks into yes please. Resolve family feuds without blowing a whistle. Providing tasty family meals is all that matters. Where there are moms, there is love. Golden Terra Oil, pour pure love.
Thank you very much for staying with us. This morning, we're looking at defections, party politics, and politicians. And of course, what we expect from politicians, from those who are heading, who are representing citizens at various levels, the lawmakers. What are those expectations? What are those things, politicians should be held accountable for, and citizens are not holding them accountable? Also, we look at the gale of defections that have been rocking our political space lately in Nigeria. What does the law say about defections and defecting from one political party to the other? If you're defecting, are you supposed to lose your seat? Are you still supposed to remain in that office? These are all, questions that would be answered this morning. And doing justice to this first segment this morning, we have a legal practitioner, Mr. Adebimpe Adelowo. He is the legal secretary, IPAC, Oyo State Chapter. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Adelowo.
Good morning, and good morning to our viewers at home across all we have been seeing visuals.
Indeed, it's good to have you here. Let's start with defections.
Yeah.
What is expected? I mean, as a legal, let's look at it from the legal point of view. What does the law say about defections? If you're defecting from one political party that you have been elected, that brought you into power, that gave you that seat, and you're defecting into another political party, what does the law, what's the stance of the law on that?
I want to look at it in two different dimensions. I will look at it from the legal angle and also look at it from the moral angle. First of all, there are two sets of political office holders, executives and legislators. But our law only provides specifically for defections of the lawmakers, the legislators. Why silence on what will be the implication of defections of the executive? I mean, whether president or governor.
I'm sorry, is it that there's nothing specific, or what they have written is vague?
It's not. You know that we, under our constitution, we have various chapters, various sections for different category of people. So under the legislators, the provisions of that provided for legislators, their functions, whatever, you understand, we have that provisions there specifically mentioned.
Okay.
But under the provisions that are that associated or relates to the executives, we could not find such provisions there. So in a way, our constitution provides for the reasons that any legislators or a lawmaker can defect from his political party to another political party.
Under what?
That's section 68.
Clause? No, I mean, under what clause does the Constitution provide that? There must be a reason why the Constitution
that's what I want to put across. Okay. Under section 68(1)(g), it only provides that any lawmaker will automatically lose his seats if those conditions, two conditions are not present while defecting. One, divisions in the party, in his political party. Another condition is that any lawmaker that is defecting must meet his, when that political party merge with another political party. And it's very simple. For instance, where there is no clear cut of leadership in the particular political party, the political party he contested under, then you know that whenever let me quickly chip in this. Our court has already take a particular decisions on that. What constitutes division in the political party? The Supreme Court says that division only when we have two parallel executives in a political party, and two parallel executives are now trying to struggling for the structures of the party. For instance, whereby we have a chairman of the political party, and that must be at the national level, not at the state level. The crisis at the state level does not amount to division. Okay. Any division that contemplated by constitutions and court is division that happens at the national level of that party, whereby we have two factional chairmen. We have one chairman, we have another chairman. And then both of them are laid claim to the positions of the chairman. That is a clear-cut division at the political party. So, but in a way, where you just have crisis within your state, and then you use that one as a reason for you to deflect, you automatically lose your seat under our constitution.
But based on what you've just explained now, and Supreme Court's definition of division, it doesn't seem like, especially the People's Democratic Party is having or going through such crisis currently.
Not at all.
So why is it difficult? I mean, we've seen the gale of defection happening from, I think, March or April this year down to sometimes last month, even a few weeks ago, you know, and people crossing from PDP to APC. Why is it difficult for PDP to probably sue, you know, those individuals
in a way,
and question?
In a way, the problem is this, because aware that even the PDP has already taken certain steps, even in the past, to challenge such defection. But we have another problem at hand. The problem we have at hand is reluctances of judiciary, our court, to come out in clear terms to address that situation. We remember that when such happened at the Rivers State Assembly, we remember when the numbers of Rivers State's House of Assembly member defected to APC, though they backtracked later. But you can see the reluctances of our court to address such issues. Meaning that we have the problem at hand. Apart from political problem, we have the judicial problem. Because judiciary is supposed to be the one, we understand, to make sure that we effect whatever the provisions of our constitution. Ordinarily.
So what's tying the hands of the judiciary?
I'm coming.
Before you go on, please hold that thought. We have a commercial break. We'll be right back.
What wakes you up in the morning? Is it the sunrise? Is it the alarm? No. It's your dream that wakes you every day. It's what drives you like a powerful engine. That's why you start strong every day with the rich, creamy taste of Nescafe Original 3-in-1. Carefully crafted from selected coffee beans. You are on your hustle, and you won't stop until you succeed. Start strong. Finish strong.
When malaria knocks you down, you can be sure parasites are having a party in your system.
Welcome to our new kingdom, guys!
Comel, an effective weapon against malaria.
Coleman!
Attacking the parasite army directly to give you express relief and get you back on your feet effectively. Comel on. Malaria gone.
Milo 3-in-1 Milky and Creamy is truly milky and contains calcium. So, no need to add milk for that rich, creamy cup, which helps to nourish your kids.
All right, thank you very much for staying with us. Still talking about defections, party politics, and politicians. And before we went on that break, Mr. Adelowo, you were talking about judiciary, not carrying out its function as it's supposed to be. So please go on with that.
Now, it's not that it's not carry out its function, but the reluctancy in order to, accelerated here, such cases relate to deflections. We've had numbers of cases like that in the courts. And that is why we've not had that, whether PDP has challenged some of, excuse me, PDP has challenged some of these defections in court, because the slow pace by which we are adjudicated and the court adjudicate over such matter. Now, primarily it's supposed not to be the functions of the court to determine whether somebody has lost his seat or not.
Okay.
It should be it should be that functions of the high neck who understands, because before if there is any crisis or division in a particular political party, INEC must be aware of that. I don't know whether you get the logic. INEC must be aware, because those factions, two factions within the political party, they will submit their papers to the INEC, signal division. But in our own case, INEC will just sit down and look without taking any practical steps under the law to declare their seats vacant.
But then there must be reasons for this, because you look at the fact that INEC chairmen are appointed.
Yeah.
And politics come into play when some of these things come to fore. Now the question is, what exactly is the rationale behind us calling out INEC when a lot of people do not expect that INEC, that maybe at some point in time, has tried to identify and tell us that this is what the book says, this is what the rule says about this, but then nobody is listening to them. Instead, the politicians prefer to fight dirty and go to court. And when it starts becoming cases like that, then the
INEC has never come out to say, to
but they know it's in the INEC rule book.
Yeah. The INEC has not come out specifically to address such issues.
But they know it's in the rule book.
Of course. No, it's not necessarily being it. That is our constitution. And who is saddled with the responsibility of conducting elections whenever there is vacancy? It's INEC.
So who is enforcing the law?
INEC is supposed to be the one to declare, even under our rules, under our constitution, if defections happens within at the floor of the legislative house, it behoves speaker or the Senate president or speakers of reps, House of Reps or House of Assembly, as case may be, to declare such seats vacant.
Exactly what I'm trying to point out.
I'm coming.
Okay.
Who's supposed to address, that all of them, they are politicians. If I'm PDP, I'm the Speaker of the House, and then somebody potted, let me use that, defected to my home party. You understand? I won't take any steps if nobody challenges that. Ordinarily, INEC should be the one to advise such house of legislative house that this seat has been vacant for this reason,
Okay, now let's look at it this way. INEC, the Constitution, everything is stated clearly.
Yeah.
Now, INEC can advise, right? But then, like you mentioned earlier on, the leaders of these houses are also supposed to execute. There's those who have the capacity to put these things down.
We are talking about law.
The law enforcement.
And we are talking about law. You understand?
Who are those to enforce?
We are talking about law. If INEC has never, I'm saying it, INEC has never put forward any communication.
But it is in the Constitution.
Of course.
So,
because I'm coming. INEC has never, since all these defections here and there, the responsibility of INEC is this. We have already stated the two conditions by which somebody can defect from one party to the other. INEC will know whether a party has merged with another party, because they will put forward their papers in order to effect such merger. INEC will know whether a political party in serious crisis by which they have two factions laying claim to the same seat. Two factions will definitely approach INEC to submit their papers. And INEC is in a position to determine who is the leadership of a particular political party. Let me cite an example. Few months ago, when the issues of coalitions of ADC started, until INEC recognized the new leadership of ADC.
That's for a coalition.
For coalition. Okay. For a new leadership for ADC. Many people are still in doubt whether ADC still has leadership.
Now let's begin to look at the responsibilities of INEC now, and whether INEC is losing its touch, or why is it turning a blind eye to
INEC is playing politics together with their appointers.
I don't know if I should call it misbehavior of politicians or political parties. Why is INEC turning blind eye to
because
such acts?
I want to say that INEC has no capacity, supposedly. They have capacity on paper by what we have, the provisions of constitutions and whatever laws, maybe electoral act and thereabouts. But when it comes to the actions, INEC is incapacitated. They always look at the body language of whoever at the center, because that is what we are discussing the other time. On your one of your program, we mentioned is that no, INEC is not truly independent, because if a ruling party who is at the helm of affairs appoint the head of INEC, we have problem there. Morality will tell you that that's person appointed by somebody that have vested interest. We always do things in accordance to protect the interest of whoever appointed it.
Do you think the chairmanship position should be an election rather than?
It's not necessary to be an election. It should be advertised.
Advertised?
Yes, of course.
Don't you think it makes it?
I'm coming. All the VC of universities, the position is being advertised. They are public servants. And it's a sensitive position. We can have so many people apply for it, and then we have a panel.
Who set up the panel?
The judiciary can set up a panel that constitutes CSO. That of course.
No, we have a country where almost every face.
You see, we will start from somewhere. Let's take away that responsibility from the executive and give it to an independent body.
No, this is something. The INEC, that's Independent National Electoral Commission, is responsible.
In paper?
They're responsible for conducting elections. Majorly, that is what we see them for. Registration of voters, sensitization, education, and all of that. And also political party regulation as monitoring of party activities, amongst other things. Now, you mentioned INEC. In the same breath, you mentioned the leaders of the House of Assembly, the House of Reps, and all of that. Why are we not apportioning blames to those? Because now these people are directly under you. You have seen the movements in your own house. And if we are going to actually say we are being truthful about this whole thing, it is the leader of the house that is supposed to actually, judge matters in the house and settle how things will be.
You see, there is different in roles. You understand? Nobody, I want to sincerely say this, no speaker, no president of Senate has that power under our law, you understand, to suspend or to declare a seat vacant why advice has not come. Our constitution just made provisions for that. But there should be conditions by which, and who we advise, there should be an independent body sending the correspondence to, sending the correspondence to that such House of Legislative House. What has happened? And before any defections could be effected at all, that institution has to wait for the advice from the regulators who understands the condition by which somebody needs to defect from his political party.
Can we now say?
I want to quickly have this. I think we are shying away from the fact that it is just our people who want to play dirty, and not that INEC.
INEC is part of our people. No, we should not. You see, the reason why.
No, you have pointed.
I'm coming. The reason I'm trying to hard on INEC is because it is their responsibility.
But it's the responsibility of the politicians also. They know what is in the constitution.
A politician will not regulate themselves.
No, I'm saying they know what is in the constitution.
I want
you do this, you lose your seat.
Look, why do we have courts?
So why do they keep going back and forth?
I'm coming. Why do we have INEC when we know that the politicians are supposed to regulate themselves?
Why do the politicians go back and
forth? I'm coming. Why do you want to be judge in your own case? I'm a politician. The other person is a politician. Then when you say they are fighting dirty, then it shows that the crisis, the rancorous session will continue. Now that is why in the wisdom of the drafters of the constitution, we have INEC to regulate all the political activities. But when such institution failed, we need to point it out in that area.
Like in River State?
Like River State. Because immediately what will happen immediately is that immediately you defected from our political party to another political. That political party will write INEC.
So what happened?
And when the political write INEC should act on that based on the provisions of the constitution. But political party has written INEC several times, and INEC failed to act.
But we saw what happened in River State. We saw what played out. We saw the end result. And here we are again talking about INEC.
We decided to go that way because we are playing politics. We don't follow law.
Exactly what I'm saying. We are playing politics. We keep playing politics. And then
because the reason we find ourselves in the situation we find ourselves in that river, if INEC has acted if truly INEC is independent, I know INEC would have acted based on the provisions of the constitution, but he failed. The political party in question wrote INEC, but INEC failed to act on that. Because the first thing he needs to do is to look at your paper. Is there any division in this political party? Are there two factions laying claim to the leadership of the party at the national level, according to the verdict of the court? But no, is this party has matched with another political party? It's so simple.
What verdict from the court? Because now we see
the verdict from the court is that if there should be what you can define as division in a particular political party is when we have factions at the national level of the party, whereby we have two factions lay claim to the leadership of that party.
We have not seen that happen.
And we've not seen that one happen.
Let's look at the ideologies of some of these political parties now. Are we saying some of these parties have misplaced priorities? They do not set their ideologies right. Even the political parties accepting, these defectors, can we say they do not also have, their ideologies set out straight for them to have received these defectors when they know that, and also, what does the Constitution say, about political parties receiving defectors who do not have, issues or divisions in their own political parties?
The Constitution didn't say anything about that.
Okay.
But the Constitution only addressed the culprits, the defector, that he should automatically lose his position, his seat. And that is when the INEC comes in, because it's the responsibility of INEC to conduct election to that seat, to that vacant seat. Having certified that has been, all that condition has not been met before you defected. Now, the problem is this. We have laws. We have institutions. We have political party. Political party ought to be an institution. But no, in the case of Nigeria, we don't have political party. What are the features of that political party we are talking about? Political party is somebody that is, the political party we have what we call supremacy, party supremacy. Supremacy has to be, that is, the party has say over all its members, whether elected or not.
Mr. Adelowo, older thoughts on the commercial break. We'll be right back. Please stay with us.
Ẹ̀yin tèmi, oúnjẹ ti délẹ̀ o.
Sí àsìtò gbà yìí.
Supramalt Multivitamin Junior.
TerraCube, unwrap joy, unleash taste.
Some say learning is fun, but as a mom, I see how demanding it can be for my child. That's why I ensure he starts every day with a cup of Bonvita. Bonvita, prepare them to win every day.
Good, tasty food is worth living for. Worried about your oil every time you enjoy your favorite meal? Introducing Smart Balance. Smart Balance rice bran oil is rich in gamma-oryzanol. Several studies suggest that gamma-oryzanol may contribute to the reduction of bad cholesterol. Golden Terra Smart Balance oil. Good food, no worries.
All right, thank you for staying with us. Mr. Delaw, before we went on that break, you were trying to explain what a political party is and, of course, talking about ideologies of most of these political parties.
So the political party in Nigeria, the first thing we need to identify with a political party is supremacy of that party over its member, whether elected or not. In our own case here, the elected officer of a political party automatically become the leaders. And that is not a political party. Political party also must have an ideology. Do we have any clear-cut ideology within the political party we have in Nigeria? The so-called, I always call them political associations. People that gather together in order to protect certain interests. Because there is no clear ideology. That is why it's very easy for somebody from party A to defect to party B. Let me say this. In relationship, we talk about compatibility. When two people are compatible. When you are compatible, it's very difficult to live one another. But when you are not, it shows that you have different ideology in view, you have different opinion, you can't do things together. And that is what you have seen in the... Nobody is going to join a political party in Nigeria because of ideology. Whether I'm socialist or I'm what have you. We have several political ideology around. Elsewhere, you can discover that it's let me cite the popular democracy. It's very difficult for somebody from Republican to defect to Democrat. Even in South Africa, it's very difficult because, in fact, it's in their lineage. Each individual has already chosen the way they want to think. When you go to the UK, it's very difficult for somebody in Labour to defect to another political party because they cherish the ideology they believe. Nigerians don't have ideology, even individually. That is why we are behaving the way we are behaving. That's why we can join ourselves with just anybody. That's why, but we do business with everything we have. And a political party that has no supremacy, the political party that has no ideology, the political party whose membership could not subscribe to and pay their annual subscription, political party that depends on the money bags to come and raise it. It's not a political party.
Now, how can this be corrected? And how can we ensure? Because, I mean, as it is, we are still electing them, and it feels like defections happen here and there. Still same set of people, are coming in as leaders in Nigeria. How can we correct the fact that most people, especially in the political space, lacks ideology or, core values of why they are actually in that particular political parties or those things they intend to carry out for the citizens?
Our first problem in this country is religion. We can see the only ideology that thrives in our society is what? A religion. On conviction, somebody will move to Islam or move to Christianity. Even if you move from Christianity to Islam, you will be ostracized by your people. If you move from Islam to Christian, even your parents may not accept you again, because we have lost that core value to allow people to think independently and assume their own lifestyle. So, the damage the religion has done to our system is what we are seeing in politics. You understand? Because we only focus on religion, we don't focus on their lifestyle, what our core value is. And that is why you could see that many people today, you find them in this very political party, and then how can we correct that? To correct that, it shows that we have to do a thorough job in restructuring the society. How do we start that? This society we call Nigeria is a society that has to sit down together. The core value of the Northerner is quite different from the value of Southerner. How can we marry two together? If we can't marry that two together, can we stay separately and then still have common ground, whereby we meet? Lose federation, whereby individual will govern themselves the way they wish. And that will create ideology. That when we put several things together, in the North, what take primary focus is religion. And you can't toy with that. And that is why we have different crises over there. And also in the South here, you understand, in fact, we have mixed ideology because of the religion. The religion has already, has created a lot of havoc within our politics. And that is why we could not get it right. Then, the issue of, we have to sit down and then define what we want for our politics in Nigeria. Or else, we continue to see this. Game of deflection is not just happening this recent time. It happens, in 80s as well. We remember what started crisis, Omoboriowo in Ondo side. It's because of defections from UPN to MPN. And that created a lot of crisis.
Now, talking of defining what we want in politics in Nigeria, who does the definition?
And people now.
And how should the people, or how will they
people
go
should be
about it?
awake. You see, the problem is that we have a dozai public that is disinterested in what happened in politics. We only complain. Now, very recent time, certain people come together and want to use ADC as platform coalition. People begins to, tear them apart, say all sorts of things about them. Why can't people see light in that and then rise to join and then put them straight? You stay outside. You said you want change. How can you effect such change? No amount of your commentary on radios or what have you can bring any necessary change until you are deeply involved. People should rise. It shows that our people, whatever you see in politics, is the reflections of the society we have, people we have.
So we should not stand outside and complain.
Of course. It should be our primary functions, our primary responsibility as citizens of this country to take away power outrightly from all these politicians. If our people has not come out, you see, in those society, when they feel that, their elected officials could not give them what they want, what did they do? What did they do? They push until they change government. But what we see in our own way, because we live so long in poverty and the natural poverty, artificial poverty, because the poverty we are experiencing in this country is deliberately created.
Now we've seen some politicians, move from their political parties to just the ruling party now in Nigeria. Does it mean we are gradually moving to a one-party state? You know the danger in it? That the situation we are seeing now, apart from moving to one-party state, the danger in it is that that will empower the president to become totalitarian. You know, when you have majority of your political party member at the National Assembly, you know that they can pass any law to become a life president. And where does this put democracy in Nigeria?
We don't have democracy in Nigeria. We only have civil rule. What make it semblance of democracy is because we have legislative house. But that legislative houses we are talking about, they are appendages of executive. They are not truly independent. They don't have that capacity to challenge, to bring the opinion, the feelings of people to bear on the politics and governance. They only follow whatever the executive. The case of Oyo State, the case of Nigeria, you see what happened when they want to pass, when they want to change the national anthem. Overnight, in democracy, people have no say, no referendum. Somebody just puts it across, and then they pass it overnight, and it becomes law immediately. And some other bills like that.
All right, Mr. Adelaw, because of our time, we have to wrap up now. But looking at the gale of defections and how, politicians are moving, using your word, potting, what's the hope of other political parties coming 2027?
The other political party has hope. Especially we have third force on ground now, which is ADC, which is moving. And then you cannot imagine. That is why that party, the strongest opposition we have in Nigeria today is ADC. And when you understand that party is moving, and that's why you see a lot of attack.
ADC is stronger. Is the strongest right now?
Of course.
Stronger than PDP?
PDP is no more.
What do you mean by PDP is no more?
Because they have a lot of crises.
And there crises that cannot be sorted before 2027?
Because they can't sort it out. Because some of their members have already moved away. And you just mentioned it. Yes, let me go back to your question.
I did not just mention it. Those are, activities that we've seen in the past few weeks.
Yes, okay, you only alluded to such a fact. Now, let me tell you this. As governors don't win elections, we have certain structure outside elected officers that normally win elections. When governor or president come to power, you understand? They would think that they have enough fund to throw about and a lot of things like that. But let me tell you, those structures, if you offend those structures, you may not win that election. Moving from one political party to the other does not mean that has made APC stronger than any political party in Nigeria. In fact, their crisis will be more than PDP.
Right, thank you.
Because there will be explosion within that political party. So, as they move to other political party, then the strongest opposition is preparing and moving stronger. That is why you see a lot of attacking in Ekiti, in Kwara, in Kaduna, in Kebbi and some other part of Nigeria.
Talking about insecurity, that's another.
No. I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about.
Conversation
I'm not talking about banditry or insurgency. I'm talking about how they are attacking that political party,
the
ADC
internal
members.
political crisis. All right, we have to go, Mr. Adelowo. I mean, it's been a wonderful conversation. Talking about defections, party politics, and politicians, our leaders in Nigeria. We've been in conversation with Mr. Adebimpe Adelowo, a legal practitioner and a legal secretary, IPAC Oyo State Chapter. Thank you very much, Mr. Adelowo.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
We'll have you again. We'll be
Thank
right
you
back
so
after this commercial break with our second guest. Please stay with us.
What makes a true leader in the game? Is it being the first to start? For over a decade, one name has always led in front. That name is Bet Naija. Bet Builder, Bet Freeze, One-Up, Bet Boom. Not just features, but unbeatable odds on over 300,000 live matches. You're playing to win. Just another reason why Bet Naija is truly Nigeria's #1. TerraCube, unwrap joy, unleash taste.
Thank you very much for sticking around with us. We are still talking about the factions, party politics, and politicians. And we are driving the conversation further with Honorable Fatai Additional, who is a legal practitioner as well as a former member of the Oyo State House of Assembly. You're welcome this morning.
Victor, good morning. It's a pleasure to be with you today.
That was emphatic. Okay, well, we're talking about, the defections, what the law says about it, and what it should really mean, indeed. But then we know how party politics work and politicians. What's your view on these defections and what should be?
Well, let me start by saying that we are not really playing politics the way it should be. Politics should be about rule of law. Because there is no issue that you want that this constitution, the present constitution, 1989 constitution, has not provided for, as amended. If you go to section 109, from A to G, it has talked about defection, especially for parliamentary members, that if you want to leave your party, there must be a crisis or a division within your party. Just like we had during this McCarthy and Ahmadu Sharif, when this same PDP nearly went into extinction. It was a tough battle then. And he's saying that the moment you leave your party to go to another party, you leave that your position. But the question is, are we really listening or implementing that constitution? Look at what happened in Rivers State. 27 members were sent on your mandate when you belong to the PDP, holding the flag of APC. Nothing happened. Because we are really trampling on our constitution. We are not really using it. In a saner environment, the moment you go against the constitution, you are in for it. It is not so in Nigeria. And that's why we'll be telling you that we have two laws. The law for the poor people and the one for the bigger people up there.
It looks like it's difficult, to abide by most of the rules we have in our constitution. Why is it so?
It's because of the level of poverty and education. A person is charged for corruption now, that you are doing a bad thing. You see some people hailing him. Instead of condemning him and allow the law to take its course. You see them taking money to the media, twisting stories. When you know within yourself that what you have done is against the constitution. I listened to my brother when he was on here. It is only religion that is our problem. Poverty is the major issue we should hammer on. We used to say it. They are even doing it brazenly now. People you see when you have elections, some people be around the corner sharing money to people when they know they don't enjoy that government for the past 4 years. They still want to continue with it. Poverty is one of our major problems. And the kind of people joining politics is either you're a professional in politics, like we have in the First Republic, or you are a typical politician. These are the issues affecting our political system. And leadership too. In those olden days, the constitution does not say that the governor or the president should be the leaders of the party. No!
How did we get to that state where...
We got to that state because of the intervention of the military.
Yeah, but then we keep laying hands on the military, pointing at them. At some point you would say, shouldn't we have learned from the mistakes? Because we didn't have it this bad back then. Like you said, the First Republic. Now you're talking about the leadership and the people, the followers, and what we have right now. Mentally speaking, a lot of people are not too excited about what's going on. But then we've seen, several years of this democratic rule. Ever since the military left us, we're still repeating so many things, and we are seeing the results. And we have, at the end of the times with that number, we can't keep repeating the same things and expect different results. So where do we actually identify and acknowledge that we've gotten some things very wrong, and how we should address them?
Okay. In law we say that people are made some interloper. That people that don't have business in a court, but just jump into a situation. This is the way our politics is like now. 2027 is around the corner now. There are some young guys, I'm not saying they don't have the right to come and contest. They don't really have the interest of the people they want to govern. But because they are loaded, they have money. So then coming around, and even they be coming around now to come and contest for positions. When they get to this position, they become what Yoruba will call Ashemashi. When they win this election, you can't approach them. You can't table your problems again. They don't even know, they will even be telling you the idea they are coming with, other than what obtains there. Number one problem. Number two is money, too. I'll continue saying it's money. For you to go for a convention now, maybe in Abuja or somewhere, you need money. And somebody will be providing this for you, thinking that he's helping you. By the time they give you this money, they will pay you food allowance, pay you this. If you now come around to lord it over you, do you have any say? No. Who pays the piper dictates the tune.
All right, Honorable. After this break, we'll come back to ask about the role of the state and national assemblies when we talk of the Gale of Defections. Please stay with us.
When malaria knocks you down, you can be sure parasites are having a party in your system.
Welcome to our new kingdom, guys!
Comel, an effective weapon against malaria. Attacking the parasite army directly to give you express relief and get you back on your feet effectively. Comel on Malaria Gone.
When you're low on energy and need a break, give yourself a treat. Cadbury Hot Chocolate. Smooth. Crafted from cocoa, milk, and sugar. Creamy. Chocolatey. Frothy goodness. Rich taste. So satisfying.
Cadbury 3-in-1 Hot Chocolate. The treat you deserve.
Supramalt Multivitamin Junior.
The world needs moms. With a splash of golden terra oil, a mom can transform a frown into a smile. Change no thanks into yes please. Resolve family feuds without blowing a whistle. Providing tasty family meals is all that matters. Where there are moms, there is love.
All right, thank you very much for staying with us. Still looking at the Gale of Defections, party, politics, and politicians. Honorable, before we went on that break, I was trying to, I want us to look at the roles of the national and the state assemblies. What role do they also have to play, talking of defections in political parties?
You see, the National Assembly and the State Assembly, basically, according to Section 4 of the Constitution, they are to make laws. That is their first function. Executive are to implement the laws, and judiciary are to interpret these laws when there's friction. And that's why you see Section 456 coming together as a combined law. We discover that the executive, in their wisdom, because they hold the pulse, they try to influence whatever is going on, even within the judiciary. And that's why if you want to come to the State of Assembly now, the governor must know you. He will be the one to fund your election. He will be the one to buy funds for you and give you money. You can't come in independently. Like the way we did then. That's the practice. They are even the one that will give you nomination form and expression form. Tell me when you come in, like I said earlier, who will pay the piper, the takes to me. At the national level, even you can come in individually. When it comes to the issue of leadership, if you want to elect your president. You see what happened between Yari and Akpabio. At a stage, Akpabio became what we call establishment candidates. They were moving around the country because they would not want somebody to rock their boat. And that's why when you look at the 8th Assembly at the national level during Saraki era, they were able to exert some authority. There's a sort of mini autonomy. So for them now, you discover that it is very difficult for them to play any role because they influence their election. Yari nearly turned the whole place apart. Now Yari is part of them too now. Maybe they have negotiated with him that, don't worry, maybe next time or something is coming from you. So these are the issues that, what we have now is a fusion. The issue of separation of power does not exist anymore. And I must commend the last speaker. And look, if you are not careful, maybe you are going to one party state and even like president, if you are not. Because if you look at the trend in Africa now, Biya at 93, Ouattara at 84, Museveni at and they are winning their election. At the election, the real results, those are the issues.
Okay, still talking, looking at this issue of gale of defections, yes. I just want to ask, what is in APC that is not in other political parties? And why are they all moving, to
my politics with APC now. But I'll answer your question rightly. The question would have been the other way, my sister. Are they defecting because of the interest of the people? The answer is no. The other day, the owner of, I'm not supposed to mention him now. What's this guy's name? The guy from Data. Don't I know. Defected. People thought. But because his company had issues with EFCC, one of the reasons. Some of them individually, they have cases with EFCCs now. And they believe that they will be protected if they move to the other side. Two, some are giving reasons that the leading opposition party is not too okay now, it's tricky, which is a fact. Because it is the secretary and the national chairman that will sign your form when you want to contest in future. Maybe some of them are looking to the future that if I obtain this form of PTP now and I want to contest, if Anyawu, who's at the moment the real secretary, did not sign my form, or maybe a parallel issues emerge, because the convention coming on in Ibadan is being threatened now. Lamido has threatened to go to court. I think he's already in court. You understand? What is my future? And there is this saying, politicians think about the next election. Statesmen think about development.
These reasons you've given.
Yes.
And the next election.
Yes.
I'm worried for many of those who have defected, and here's why.
Yes.
Many of them have vested interests.
Yes.
No lies about it. And we know that, while thinking about it, have they thought about the fact that some of those positions that they're gunning for is also the vested interest of some others, either who have been at the party before or who are also defecting?
That is why politics is very, very interesting. Like you rightly mentioned now, Omo Ovi Agege in Delta has been the one managing the party when it was not even attractive, APC. Now some people, Obo Serif has gone now, thinking that he will be the leader. Omo Agege will have two options. Is either to port back to PDP or look for a safe haven somewhere, you understand, or stay and manage the situation like that. And that is one of the bane of problems, the problem of politics that we have now. In those olden days, you can't just go to UPN or go to Action Group and say you have come. No, you have to go and kill. Which to some extent was applicable in ACN. That's why the lives of Peter Babalola, when he defected in Osun, could not just come up easily. The lives of Abakari, they put him in the cooler. They are just joining us. Come and line our strategy first. In fact, there was this saying that they went to do a meeting in Ila and wanted to go up, thinking that, they don't know, the meeting officer is for these selected people. So there is no party discipline anymore. People are coming in with the money. You see the governor defecting, leaving his party, going to another party, dominating them, taking over control. But I know there have been implosion too in the APC. Some people want to leave in future.
Do you think APC, with what they have, what has held them this hard till now? Do you think they would have enough instruments, enough tools, resources, thinking capacities to ensure that there is no implosion, like you mentioned?
No, there is no way, because in politics there is personal interest.
Is there no way they can manage themselves? Or
they may be able, let me use the word, they might be able to manage themselves, but there will still be some underneath. You know, we have this in politics. There might be you know, it's loaded. There are some people within the party now. They may not leave the party, but they work against the party. That is politics for you. People will tell you that when a dog is not following you to the farm, it will turn back immediately. Human beings don't do that. They will follow you to the grave. How many job? So they too, you see, the problem is when they are coming in now, there was a time PDP had 28 governors out of 36. But what happened later? Look at what PDP is now. They say they will rule for 60 years. Where is their 60 years today? Very soon another party will come because the decision is not right.
Earlier you said there is no party discipline.
Yes.
Governor Makinde also mentioned that those defecting to the ruling APC now lack political ideology.
Yes.
Who are those that will set these ideologies and discipline, you know, for the political parties?
Let me be sincere with you. Do we really have ideology across the party? When we turn to money politics, there will be crisis. Because everybody believes everything is money now. You know, you may be educated and still be an illiterate. I think this is what is happening to some of our people now. Lack of governance. And that's why the country is at the level it is now. Even when people know that what you are doing, the policy, is hurting, is not helping situation, you can't approach your leaders to offer ideas. Which idea will need talika ni níwájú olówó. You understand? And that is where the discipline is not. In those old days, Awolowo will call all these European governors to compare notes, to review. And that's why you see some of them, they were competing that time. In the First Republic, UI was there, UNN, Radio Nigeria, Radio Enugu, they were competing. You understand? But later, we moved progressively to the military, from military to those money bags. We will even tell you that is it compulsory for everybody to be educated, which we are paying for now. Because you'll be thinking one direction, those that are not educated will be thinking the other way. And that is why, if you don't have private discipline, you can't have public discipline.
And now, should we begin to look for consequences, or what should be the consequences, you know, for those defecting, especially when there is no, based on the Constitution and what the Supreme Court verdict, you know, definition of crisis in your political party,
yes.
When we have not seen that happening in those political parties, and people are defecting to other parties, especially the ruling party, what should be the consequences for such acts?
Well, the consequences will be, one, bad governance. Something just pinched me now, that if judiciary can really come up and play their expected role of interpreting, it won't go down. That's my thinking. Because whether we like it or not, we all approach the judiciary to solve most of these problems for us. Look at the crisis of Ahmadu Sharif and McAfee that time. It was the court that resolved it. But the moment judiciary is not playing the expected role, the consequences will be fatter.
Don't you think the judiciary is somewhat tired of this bickering back and forth? Because now, from time to time, we see some of them come up with issues, the politicians now, maybe from the elections or from the party movement. And when these issues come up and they try to settle it in court according to the rule books, someone somewhere could now switch someone somewhere to bring out one part and twist it to their own use, to their advantage. And then they take the case from that court to maybe the Court of Appeal or the Supreme Court and all of that. And then we have the merry-go-round again and we are wondering what's going on.
That's why we need to appeal to our judges to be patriotic enough to know they have a role to play to save this country. Because I will not I'll be honest with myself now to say that the overbearing influence of the executive on the organs of government is becoming too much. There should be what we call checks and balances.
And why does that show check the executive and the activities of the executive?
That is why when you look at the doctrine of separation of power, that is in the Constitution. That look, we are not saying you should not collaborate, but at the same time, check your, even the house, the various houses, National Assembly, they have a lot to do. That's why you see the corruption now, everything getting festered, because of the fact that the house is not playing its roles. You understand?
What about INEC now? What role should INEC, or what role is INEC supposed to play? Are we also going to say INEC is complicit to what's going on, talking about the defections and the behaviors of politicians?
Very, very complacent, I'll be honest with you. But because he's an appointee of the president, just like OSEC too is an appointee of the governor. You understand what I'm saying now? Until when we build institutions and systems, maybe for INEC chairman to come in now, it will not have the rigmarole of the executive playing a particular role. Or maybe all the threes will join together. Or maybe there will be a particular system that will prop up the INEC chairman. By the time we start doing that, there might be sanity. Ditto for this OSEC. If OSEC should conduct any local government election today in any state, I mean it. The result is well known. Do you understand? Until when we start to build system, not around the personality. You understand? For example, if you come into BCOS now, if people are empowered to take certain steps, that will not be overturned up there. Maybe a particular advert was replaced there. I said, no, it's not complying with. Until when we have system. If you want to enter university now, the VC has the power to say, no, we're not offering you admission. Just like I have a matter I was handling now. Somebody wanted to rent you out, you said, no, we won't give us to you. The check, the credit check, your background check was not too favorable. You understand? So these are the issues we need to look into. Build institution, not everything coming to the executive. When we have that, continue to have issues.
Okay, we've said so much about, the state assemblies, national assemblies, INEC, executive, legislature, judiciary, and the likes. But what about the people? Because at the end of the day, the people are the one bearing the brunt, of the actions of these political parties and politicians generally. Now, what should the people do, and how? And it also feels like the people have lost. Like you were saying earlier, the young people do not even want to have anything to do with politics. They don't want to hear politics, and they do not even want to venture into it. How should they begin to now start trusting our system, when we are still having all these issues surrounding, our political space in Nigeria?
Yes, when you talk about the people, you see the same people that don't believe much in merit anymore. When a level 13 officer is promoted above his peers and will go to church and do Thanksgiving. When you don't merit a particular position, but they now move you above your Oga when there is no merit. The next thing is just to go to Asalatu and say, that is number one problem. Number two, the poverty level too is affecting. In those olden days, you don't need to lobby before they give what you deserve. By the time you are this, you are this. Later they change it in the civil service. That look, appointment into PS is so. You see everybody lobbying. The society was being destroyed. That's what is happening in politics too now. You understand? Somebody had been in the party, building the party, using its resources and everything. One day somebody just come from anywhere and you impose him. Instead of people to resist, to come out to say, no, Mr. Victor had been with us for a very long time, this and that. Along will come on. So these are the things we need to look to. The people, they are no more. You see, the leadership must be straight before the people will queue behind. You understand? The discipline must come from the leadership. And once it's come from the leadership, others too will follow, will key in. For example, now, you say youth, they don't want to go into politics. How do we now replace ourselves? Some of us are going gradually. People are not coming in. Then what we've been practicing will continue.
Okay. Okay. Now let's look at the grassroots.
Yes.
I think if we also want some changes, we have to look at the grassroots. Now, for years, a lot of people have lived in fear, myself inclusive, of some certain political events at this grassroots level. Often we're talking about student union elections. Even NANS. There's a picture going viral in the last few days of someone who is, well, presumably too old to be.
Yes, 45 years old.
And then he's contesting for the NANS election and is winning in a certain university. And there are questions as to why that is happening. So even if at this level, these things are happening, how do we change it? What are the leaders of thoughts that would actually ensure? Because we can say these young ones at this level are still within some certain corridors that some people can still speak to them and maybe give them something of capacity, something that will make them a lot more capable of leading people than what we'll be experiencing to the upper echelons. But we're not having that. We have issues.
We can't have that, Victor. Reason being that we are not following the rules and guidelines anymore. For the person you say is 45 years old, by the time we have age limit, that if you want to contest for president of student unionism, this must be the age, this must be the criteria. You understand? And we follow it. Will a 45-year-old or 50-year-old man come in? No. Because we are trampling on our laws. Ditto for our constitutions now. That's why we are getting to all this mess. If we follow strictly, you cannot read social course. If you don't have credit in English, credit in maths, have all this. And we follow it strictly. You will look for a lesser course that you can do. But do we have that now? No. Ditto for the country too. Everybody just take laws for his hand. Do you know who am I? Do you know me? You are driving, you don't have driver license. You are asking, do you know who am I? In a saner country, you are going to jail straight, or they will suspend you. By the time we start having that now, there will be sanity. And for the youth to come in, you don't take fear. You put fear behind anything you want to do. Because nothing is certain. If you believe you have certainty now, you are deceiving yourself. This country.
All right, Honorable, as we wrap up, as we begin to wrap up this morning, let's look at 2027 now ahead. And, the issues around most of these political parties, the gale of defections, and politicians' demeanor to all this. What do you think, or what are we expecting coming 2027?
We are all human beings. I can't predict the future. It's only assorted ones that can do that.
I mean, based on the drama and everything we are looking
Nigeria,
at.
God has a way of coming in. There was a time we have this doctrine of necessity during Jonathan's era, when it looks like everything will collapse. Doctrine of necessity came in. And don't forget, politicians has a way of doing their things. My fear is just that the trend of these Boko Haram and all those stuff, they should not allow it to divide the country. Because in unity we stand, divided we fall. And people should have the love of the country that Nigeria must survive at all costs. We met it here, we can't destroy it. Look at what is going on in Cameroon now, simply because of the election. Killings going on. We should not. And that's why we are saying that youth should come in with the zeal to develop the country.
How do you think youth can penetrate what we have currently in Nigeria?
First of all, you put interest. I'm sorry to say this on here. The way we go for all this gospel, go to churches, if we put 50% of the attention to this country, we want to know what is going on, you say you are not participating, the mediocres that we have now will take over. And a single policy of government can throw everybody out. Look at what happened to Rice. That time when they closed border, a lot of people go into oblivion. So we should take interest. We should take governance as a religion. Comment on what is going on around you. Don't say that I could come in. Imagine how you lost the US. Very soon US will be locking. I believe they've denied Nobel laureate. Professor Olise Yinka. Nothing happened. If our country is better, the better it will be for all of us.
Okay, now I wanted to ask you something. You mentioned some factors earlier on as possibly affecting APC out of the next elections and a possible implosion. Yes. Do you think there's a sign there that maybe there can't be that 1% chance for the likes of ADC and PDP?
Well, let me toe the line of the former speaker. ADC may even have edge above PDP if they don't solve their problem now. Because the most important thing in party politics is the chairman and the secretary of the party that will be signing. Look at what happened in Zamfara also. When, having won all the elections, APC have won all the elections there. Because of the mistake of not having the right executive in place, everything was overturned in court and moved back to those that contested under another party. You understand? And that is the other alternative they may have will be this if they are able to get their own house right. Have a secretary, have a chairman that will be signing to INEC. Because at the end of the day, if you don't put your house in order, even if you have won the election, they can take it away from you.
No mention of Labour.
Labour is having crisis too. That's the truth. Is there a bully that they want to, or the other guy? And people are saying, no, it is the machination of the ruling party.